Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's your boy AG the Dad with Shit Talking Sundays, fitness tip of the week. And you know what? I'm not wasting no time. You see, I cut out a lot of the intro because we got too much to talk about. We need to jump right in. So with Vince the Beast with Team Fitness Major, what's going, DZ, man?
Hey, what's up, brother? How
Man,
was your
you know,
for those that don't know, you had a birthday, 35 again.
ooh, boy, who was that?
Wasn't me. Not this, not
Well,
again, not me.
But hey man, once I became 5-0, I wasn't tripping off of nothing else. But
Hey,
anyway, the Most
it's a
High is
blessing.
good. I'm definitely, got my health because I woke up. So we'll see what happens.
Hey,
I
that's
use
always
I,
that's
I
always a
use
great
your
start.
techniques to keep me in health, man. So you know,
Yeah, I got a few of them today. So,
well,
shout
all
out
you
to
then.
everybody. Shout out to everybody, of course. Thank you for checking in. And of course, if you have not yet, subscribe, like, share, comment, donate. Please do get the word out to everybody and anybody that you know. Let them know what's going on. Let them know about the movement. Said this is a fitness tip of the week. I'm Vince the Beast with Fitness Major. You can always, if you're looking to get more information about me, about the company, teamfitnessmajor.com is the website. If you want to have a couple questions you want to ask, you can always hit on the survey, the questionnaire right there to contact us, so that you can get a call back or a response. If you want to check out how to get a free consultation and to proceed going forward with that, also you can do it that way, or you can just go onto the new client survey and take the quick survey, about 10 questions. If you're one of those people that just want to hit direct, just to get a quick filler, you can hit the phone number 916-410-1950, and you can hit us up on the website by email. Hit us up on the email at fitnessmajor@gmail.com. Again, don't forget to check out, support the program. Shit Talking Sundays, fitness tip of the week with your boy AG. Of course, me, Vince the Beast. Like I was saying, this is No Shave November. For those that don't know about this, it's something that has been going on since 2008. It got started by a member who was dealing with colorectal cancer. So it is a support for those that are dealing with uh, colon colorectal cancer, which is a combination of colon cancer and rectal cancer. So it is the fourth most common cancer for both men and women. And it is estimated as of 2022 that over 106,000 people would develop new cases of this type of cancer. So please support those that are dealing with that, suffering with that. Make sure it is vitally important for those, especially men. I speak out to the men because men become stubborn when it comes to getting yourself checked out. To make sure that you go and good time of year. I like to do it around my born day, to get with your doctor and go get tested, because the best maintenance is preventive maintenance. Be proactive instead of being reactive. We're not. I know everyone likes the Avengers, but you don't want to be trying to avenge that. You want to try to be on top of that, be proactive, and get on that case right here, right now. So, without that being said, we want to talk about again. If you have any questions, comments about the topic today, please feel free that type in and ask the question. This is a live show, and we love that interaction. So I wanted to talk about something we've hit on a lot about exercise. We've also hit on the importance of being active and finding activities to that you like, that you enjoy, so that you can continue to stay physically fit. And then, of course, AG always has a story about the gentleman in the gym, what his secret to his family youth is. So, but we're going to break down a lot about that today, exercise training plus physical activity, and it's important to have that combo to do both because I'm gonna break down a lot of numbers, so a lot of studies. So for those that like to take notes, please feel free to get your notepad out or notepad on your phone so you can take down some of these stats, some of these notes. And of course, if I go too fast or if you miss any of that, hey, like I said, if you subscribe to the program, you can like it, you can save it into your YouTube, and then so you can listen to it any day of the week, every day of the week, just like Shit Talking Sundays. So, one I wanted to hit on really so important. I said it's a lot of numbers. So, but most people are not physically or don't have an active lifestyle. Of course, we know this. We see this in the studies. We see this in on the news when they talk about health, your health now and health today, all the little health tips on the health news that they talk about. We also you pretty much see it in your everyday lives. If you go places like you go to the mall, you go to the store, you go to the eat, go to the events. I mean, if you just really just look at people, unfortunately, a lot of people aren't healthy. Now, again, it's not just a look. We talk about it's not just a look, but it also does bear out in your appearance when you are physically active at the level that you need to be. Now, of course, we don't know everyone's journey. Maybe they are active and they've been on the journey. They're just starting the journey for a couple few months. Of course, nobody knows, but that's not the point. Overall, the statistics show that people are not as active as they need to be. So I'm gonna break down these numbers today. So again, make sure you get your pen and pad ready and really take these notes for credit. And I'm one of those people on some of these things on some of the things I've read about and looked at, as I'm sure most people are, because again, this is where we are in the world. So this is the studies that I looked at from, and it was last March in 2021. So there was a study showing that 80% of jobs are sedentary. For those that don't know what that means, let me break that down for you real quick to make it sort of basically are jobs where you are not active, you are inactive, you are sitting down, you are not um, physically moving your body. So when we look at uh, truck drivers, of course, everybody knows that been listening to the show. I used to drive trucks, so I'm not sliding or knocking anybody for any of these jobs and professions because they are all great professions, but these are just facts. So truck drivers, those that work in computers and technology, people that work remotely now, especially working home ever since the pandemic. Remote workers have been a very high thing, and there's also a lot of companies that do the hybrid program, which is you are half working from home or whatever the breakdown is. You're working from home, and then also even if you're working in the office, the tech field, of course, is great, but if you're doing technology, it's pretty much it's not a job where you're very active. Those that are doing those type of positions typically don't. Again, you're not moving a lot. So basically, you are a person that doesn't get a lot of physical activity. Like you think about me being a trainer, especially when I was doing a lot of when I was doing majority or all one-on-one or group or fitness training is very active. I'm moving. I'm moving around. I'm grabbing weights. I'm demonstrating. I'm exercising with clients. I'm doing all these physical activities. I'm constantly moving. Whereas now, I work mostly remote, so a lot of my job now requires me. I'm just like I am now. I'm in front of a computer. I'm sitting down. But so, like I said, 80% of the jobs now um, are sedentary jobs. So the number was 50%. So of course I wasn't around, but back in the 60s, the number was about 50% of the jobs in the workforce in America were um, were sedentary positions or jobs. So of course that means there was a lot more activity. And then, if you look at the statistics back in the obesity and the overweight, and even some of the diseases that are around now, and compared to where they were then, the numbers bear that out as well. So and consider considering the job market, like I said, we are in COVID now. The pandemic really hunkered people down, and it's a lot of setting down. So not just you're setting down doing that, but you're setting down if you are having a hybrid, or if you are having to go to a place where you have to show up for work. You are setting down when you're in commute, and then a lot of people are setting down when they are at home. So a lot of these would bear out, and the studies, if you want to research it more for yourself and look into it more, a lot of the studies I've looked under was the Affordable Care Act, American College of Cardiology, American Health Association, the Center for Disease Control, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, Prevention and Health and Public Health Fund. Those are the places I did a lot. I looked at a lot of my notes on. So I compared a lot of those places, and all these numbers pretty much bear it out through all their studies and their statistics. So again, if you have any questions, man, please feel free, because I love to interact. Or if you just have a comment, please drop it in there so we can I can look at that as well. But either way, so 25%. 25% spend more than 8 hours sitting down daily. So if you're one of those people, again, and a lot of people working 9 to 5 and even more than that, and one of the luxuries, hey, I work from home, so I understand that studying at home, you don't have to travel, you don't have to commute, you don't have the headaches of all that, you don't have to worry about people all around, you don't have to worry about getting home, getting dinner ready, getting the kids, make sure they wash their butt, feeding them, so on and so forth. You don't have to worry about all those things when you work remote. You're just home. You're there. So if I need to do something at the house, hey, I just get up, I go to the next room, and I do what I need to do, right? But and so a lot of people are working longer hours, working overtime because they got that luxury. And I'm the same way. If I can handle it for the day, whatever, I work some overtime, of course. Get that extra change, um, on top of the savings from the lack of commute. But yet and still, most people, again, and that's because of those reasons, are working in this sedentary career or job, 8 hours or more, and another 44% don't do. Again, I talked about the way we are now. 44% don't do at least moderate exercise weekly. So again, that doesn't. So when you look at you look at the obesity, you look at the diabetes, the high blood pressure. A lot of these numbers is because of these things that I'm mentioning now. Like I said, 44% don't do at least moderate, not intense training, but moderate exercise weekly. Now, 4% spend less than 4 hours daily setting while being active. Right. So 4% of those people spend less than 4 hours daily being active. They spend more of that time setting than being active, right? And so it creates the 25 to 35% of people being inactive during work. and and what we say, a body in motion, a body that's in motion stays in motion. So if you are constantly sedentary, if you're constantly sitting down, you're not getting up, you're not doing any movements, you're not pushing, walking around, you're not doing taking stretch breaks, you're not going outside, going for a walk, or any just basic little things like that. Like typically, if you one of the benefits of when you are working in a job at the office, you have to get up and go to lunch, or you usually get up from your desk when you go take a break. Whereas when you're at home, a lot of times you don't do that at all. You just go sit down somewhere, maybe sit on the couch, or go sit in your room, or just stay where you are. Depends on where you have your workstation is. So let's see, the move to paperless also increases the amount of time yeah, definitely, because you don't have to get up and check some of your mail. Sometimes mail always has something in there, some type of junk mail or something. But you don't have to worry about getting up as much to check. You do simple things like check your mail, so on and so forth, right? So again, a body in motion stays in motion. If you like we talk about all the time, you send your body live signals and die signals. You get up and you're moving, and you're keeping your body active. You're keeping your body moving, functioning. Whereas if you don't, your body just says, okay, well, I don't need to operate. I don't need to work. So that's when you, at least, when you get up and you're like, oh man, I'm cramping up, or your body's, or your leg or something falls asleep, or you have crinks in your body because it's not moving. It's just stagnant. It's just stuck. So uh we're gonna talk about how that affects you and our lifestyle, in our life, not just our lifestyle, our life period. So 71%, it's a 71% increase in death, um, as far as the faster to your mobility, not mobility, but faster to your uh, I can't say the word now. Anyway, your life expectancy can get shrinked up to 71% if you are, again, a sedentary lifestyle, because again you're sending your body death signals. So your body is not in motion, so it feels that it doesn't need to do anything, so it wants to do less, because it's, and think about that over just a month. Think about that over uh 6 months, over a year, over 3 years, 5 years of doing that exact same thing, where you are 8, 9, 10, 12 hours a day just doing nothing, barely moving. The body just, it's not going. So I say about how this is a lifestyle and how this is a journey, and you have to transform your mind and help transform your body, and you have to take these steps. You have to recognize this. So the more faster you can recognize this, the faster you can look and evaluate to make correction, to get out of this formula. So that is based on spending more than 6 hours daily, like I said, with low to no activity. And it's equally as scary as people spend 4 to 7 hours weekly training, right? So, I talk about getting up, working out most days of the week. So I talk about, I've spoken about plenty of times how long a workout typically. I talked about how long my workouts typically are. So again, that's 4 to 7 hours. So again, for me, I work out about 5 days a week. Each workout is about an hour and a half. So you do the math on that. So five, let's see, 6, 7, 7.5 hours. And I even got caught in that slump, to where that's all. I went to the gym and I worked out, but outside of the gym, I didn't do much. I was this what I'm doing now. I was sitting down. I was laying back, laying down. I wasn't moving as much, and it showed, and I felt it. And especially this time of year, it's hard. If you're not going to a gym to do outdoor activities, bike riding, going for walks, all those things can slow down during this time of year, especially depending on what part of the world or the country you're in. But it is so important to still keep moving, because what I just said, it might spend 4 to 7 hours, but that's working out training, right? But while they do that, they're spending 5 to 6 hours daily. So I was talking about the training time weekly. That's weekly, the 4 to 7. But they're spending 5 to 6 hours daily increasing, watching TV daily. So you do the math on that, and how does this? It doesn't balance. It's teetered to one side heavily. So let's just say you're doing 5 hours. Let's say you're doing 7 hours of training and you're just doing 5 hours of TV a day. That's 35 hours that you're doing on TV as opposed to 7 hours. So basically, you're boiling down. If you did 7 hours, you're breaking it down to an hour a day of training, right? Where you're doing 5 hours, at least 5 hours of sitting down, watching a movie, watching your sitcoms, watching the news, all those in collaboration daily. So it's a huge number. So which again that increases your mortality. That's what I was trying to say. Mortality rate 50%. So you wonder why they do studies, especially towards the end of the year, because right now we a lot of hospitals and clinics and companies are in their enrollment season. So they talk about and life insurance. AG talks about AG life, but life insurance, they look at things now. That's where they ask you these questions like your sedentary rate. What do you do? What's your occupation? Uh, do you do any type of activities? Whatever your health history, because especially with COVID, the mortality rate has decreased more because of COVID and the flu and your immune systems and our lack of activities and bad eating habits. All those things are tallied into your life expectancy again. So it's just like if you party, if every day or every weekend at least, or multiple days of the week, you're partying hard, you're up grinding, you're having fun, you're drinking, you're smoking, you're staying up, till 2, 3 in the morning. Got to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning for work 8 hours, and then you're hanging out and you're partying. You can drain your life. You can beat your body down, but at the same time, if you are doing anything but work and sitting down and eating and work and sitting down and eating, and this is a repeated cycle, your body again, your body is your body is getting signals that it doesn't need to move, it doesn't need to function. So you need to find, that's why it's so important to find this balance when it comes to these things, when it comes to physical activity plus training. So that's why I say find something that you enjoy doing outside of your training times, so that you can do more activities. And it could be whatever it is. That's totally up to you. That's your preference. That's why I say it's important to find something you like to do, because it's going to encourage you to continue to do it. Like I said, it could be a walking buddy, it could be cycling, it could be going swimming, it could be skating, whatever stuff that's active, that you're physically moving your body, and you're physically doesn't have to be challenging like the workout, but just something that again keeps the heart rate going, keeps the blood flowing, keeps the body in motion. So so again, if you haven't already, man, make sure please like, subscribe, share, comment. Uh, Check us out, teamfitnessmajor.com. Check out AG the Dad, Shit Talking Sundays. He said he's having more and more content out there, more and more people coming on doing different podcasts. So trying to give you like a holistic approach in life, and just talk about things that are heavy, talk about things that are serious, talk about just talk shit. It's all around shows, and it's something that could fit you, and it may not fit you, but may fit somebody that you know, family, friends, or loved one. So get everyone out there, get everyone involved, get everyone to come on and get a bar of this. So again, so I say this is training of any type. So I train intense, and I put my clients, I train them in intense, but it doesn't matter, because even in an intense workout, if you are setting down these numbers I gave you so far, if you're setting down for 8 hours at a time working, if you're setting down for another 4 or 5 hours doing nothing, and you work out for that 1 hour, It doesn't balance out. You can't offset that because if because your body needs to have motion throughout the day, not just when you're going to the gym. It needs to be active in motion throughout the day, and that doesn't mean walking from your bedroom to your cubicle to go, to your personal office or whatever to go work. Doesn't mean walking to your car to go to the store. I mean, to go to work or to go to the store and then get back in the car, and then that's it. It needs to be more things. All those help. I mean, don't be wrong. Getting in and going to go grocery shopping or going shopping or whatever you're doing. Of course, this time of year, Thanksgiving shopping, Christmas shopping, but parking further out, making sure that you are walking a longer distance if possible, if the weather permits, if it's safe to do so. All that does add into it. Not taking the elevator. I mean, when we have become so accustomed to doing nothing that we are actually um, everything we're doing is like buying our own, buying groceries, buying clothes, buying anything, and all that we're doing is ordering it. Again, we're on the computer clicking on everything, and then we'll go and we'll park in the designated spot and don't even get out the car. Like, we're having someone else that come out and bring our stuff, sit in our hatch or sit in our back seat and tell us have a good day. I mean, we have gotten. This is where technology and advancements are hurting us when it comes in our health, because we aren't even doing the basic stuff that we used to do. Go and get the groceries. Going to go shopping to buy whatever stuff we need for our house or our clothes or whatever for our kids or family, whatever. We're not even doing that on a regular basis anymore. And so again, all these are contributing factors. So there was a study, and this was about the World Health Organization. They did a global study, and they took it out of 168 countries, and out of 168 countries, the U.S. was 143rd when it came to activity people be of reaching the recommended activity level. 143 out of 168. That's that. And again, the higher the number, the worse that is. So you look at that. There's only like a dozen people. There's only like 20 people, 20 some 25 um, countries that are worse than us. And I looked at some of the countries. I'm not going to name them all, but I look at, like, it was like Saudi Arabia, Iraq, uh, Kuwait, um, but it was states like that, or countries like that. A lot of them are like third world countries and things that they don't have a lot of that going on. So it wasn't like major countries for most of them. So again, so that just tells you that we've become so efficient to where we've become um, too comfortable with doing basic stuff, like regular activities, like going grocery shopping. Hell, a lot of times we don't even prepare the food anymore. They got companies that prepare your meals for you and drop it off at your door. Again, I mean, there is times where that can be a good convenience, especially like during COVID. We understand how the convenience was for that, but that was going on before COVID, and it's going on now. Even though we're on the tail end of everything. There's still, people getting COVID, but you're able to go to the store now. Where you mask up or whatever, you're able to go to the store and get your groceries. You're able to go to a Target, or you're able to go to a Walmart or wherever you go, you know, and you're able to do that. So again, we're 143 out of 168, and I'm sorry, ladies. I mean, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but women are more inactive than men in these studies. So 159 of the 168 countries show inactivity is 10% higher in women. 10 and 9 of the countries, the number of inactivity rate was 20% higher for women than men. And of course, I'm not global like that. I know AG is the global sensation, but for me, I mean, I know that there are different things that are different countries have different, you know, different cultures and everything like that. But those numbers are still very staggering. I mean, it's just this is just inactivity. So it's just being active, just doing physical activities, physical labor, physical whatever. Numbers are just crazy. So, um, was you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say that when I visited overseas like Korea, um, Japan, and just basically the Orient. Back when I was growing up, it was truly a third world country. I mean, we didn't have flushing toilets. We didn't have turn on faucets. Um, in America, I think a lot of, especially our youth now, they take for granted those luxuries because you were born with them already there. When I was growing up, when I'd say I didn't have a pot to piss in, I was having shit talking Sundays in pots, in buckets, taking baths with one of those pumps where you pump well pumps where you pump the water, it pumps out into a. We had this big old plastic like bathtub, and we would fill it up halfway, and then my grandma, my Harmony, she would she would boil hot water so that I can take a warm bath. But we take those things for granted, where every single thing they need to do in life is they have to actually do it. I mean, they didn't have gas stoves. They had to build a fire, keep the fire going, chop the wood, go out there and tend to the farm, to the rice paddy if you want a rice, chicken if you want a chicken. I really didn't see too many cows uh, out there. Not to say that they weren't there, because they were, but mainly it was a lot of poultry. And like I said, they cook every day. They were butchering a chicken or butchering a rabbit, or they went to the market and they bought some meat, and so we take for granted. That's why we've gotten complicit and we started getting lazy. Even I mean, just listening to what you just said, even um like I'm sitting at this microphone at this desk talking to everybody right now, and there's a lot of behind the scenes that go on. And let me tell you, behind the scenes, I'm still sitting at this desk, editing and doing things like that. So my activity level isn't as big as it should be. That's why I have them dogs, Django
Mm-hmm.
and Hildy, so that we can go out and I walk them, run them, and I try to stimulate myself with some exercise that way. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah, I mean I mean that's another fact. Yeah, like you said, if you have, I mean, not cats, of course, but cats they do their own. But like, yeah, if you have, getting the
Pets,
dog,
pets.
um, primarily a dog, because there's not many animals that are that you have to physically actively do things with. Um, but yeah, like getting a dog, especially an active dog, a
Oh,
young dog, any young dog for sure. But
mhm.
but especially like what you have, like dogs that are known to be very active, um, to just to help you, to keep you moving, to keep you going for walks and taking jogs, or taking them to the dog park and walking around while they're in the dog park. Walking around that whatever. Just finding a way to help you become more active. I mean, now I know that this has been around for a long time, where they have dog walkers. I think a lot of people, because they was working, they did it I don't know anything per se for fact, but I'm feeling pretty comfortable in just looking at all these numbers that probably some people are still hiring dog walkers when they're not even having to have the dog walked by somebody else when they can do it themselves. I mean, it would not surprise me because again, all the things I just mentioned about the grocery shopping and all that just is just so it's like a lost art. Hell, kids walking to school these days is like they don't even want to do that anymore. I mean, I used to walk to Highlands all the time. Every and Don Julio and everything. I had to walk to school, and it was nothing. That was part of the process. And now it's like a foreign language. Like it's like what are you talking about? We don't do that type of stuff. Like these legs aren't meant for walking. They're for something else. I don't know what, but it's just crazy where we are and what we how we've become so inactive and so comfortable and so accustomed to doing nothing. We're just I'd say there's the work ethic is severely lacking in this country, and the ability to just do basic fundamentals outside of going to the working out, of course. Like God forbid that's be a part of your life. It's just crazy. So again, I'm still on the global thing. So globally, the fourth leading risk factor in mortality is inactivity. So I mean, and that's something that it is all in your hands or in your legs, and for that be the fourth leading, that says a whole lot. That tells you that people are not active. And another thing is 12%. I mean, I'm sorry, 6% of deaths globally are linked to inactivity. So you factor that in, and some of these numbers will break down. So 22% from heart disease and our colon cancer. We're talking about No Shave November. Colon cancer was one of the things that's part of that. 12% diabetes and hypertension are cause of deaths or diabetes, hypertension. And again, most of those things, outside of the say the cancer, may be the heart disease, but even I think that you have a lot of that you can handle in your by it's all up to you. But these things can be prevented by you by just doing the basic things, the basic lost art of activity. That can help a lot. So I do, like I say, we are solutions based around here. So one of the things you can do and just keep conscious of this, and I had to take this into consciousness as well, is uh, well, we're gonna get to the solutions in a minute, but people who set 30 minutes or less at a time, right, um, have a 55% lower risk of death in comparison. So we talk about, like, when I was a trainer, I mean, I wasn't sitting down much, especially, most trainers, when they have clients, they try to, you have the morning wave and you have the afternoon, early afternoon, evening wave. And most trainers want to try to book their clients pretty much back to back, maybe a 15-minute, maybe a 30-minute break in between. So, case in point, like I just said, about 30 minutes, um, set down 30 minutes, no more than 30 minutes at a time can increase your can basically cut it in half the mortality rate that you made, the risk factor of that over your lifespan. So like we'll do, like I'll have a 7 o'clock client, 7 to 8 o'clock. Have one come in at 8:15 or 8:30. Have another one come in about again 15-30 minutes after that. Lunchtime or whatever it's pretty dies down. Get my training in, get my pre-workout meal in, then go get prepared, get my training in. After I get done training myself, eat whatever, clean up, and then get the afternoon swoop. well, 3, 4 o'clock. Here comes a couple more, 2, 3 more clients. So as compared to now, it's a lot of this. It's a lot of setting down. So in knowing that fish factor, just are how that benefit if you don't sit down more than 30 minutes at a clip. That doesn't mean that you have to take off and I don't mean 30 minutes in the whole day. Like if you start your day off to about 25, 30 minutes, get up, get moving, get active, take a stretch break, um, stand up. You know, if you have the ability, a laptop or something, you can put it up on somewhere you can stand. Or if you have, like I have an ergonomic desk where I can raise the desk up and then lower it down, raise the desk up, stand for a little bit, and then, sit down for a little while, then start your timer over again. But try to keep an eye on that clock, 25, 30 minutes. Okay, time to get back up. Just stand up for a little bit and repeat that cycle. Again, it's going to keep your body from just being locked into one position, and it's going to help you to, again, decrease that risk factor um, of having that happen. And so that's what that tells me. Basically, that tells me, um, and it should hopefully tells you, the listeners, that getting moving, those can be, there is a solution. Like I said, we're going to get more into some of the solutions towards the end, but of course, just doing that one simple thing can really help. Cardiovascular disease risks increase 147% with higher levels of sedentary habits. Basically, what I talked about, the 8 hours. These are all based on those hours I was talking about earlier. So, uh, cancer risk increased 66% due to inactivity. Colon cancer increases 24%. Um, Endometrial cancer, I'm not even sure what that is, so I would have to look that up. Or if someone does know, type that in. Or if you want to look it up for yourself, of course you can. Lung cancer increases 21%, and each additional hour, right? Each additional 2 hours of setting raises the risk of colon cancer 8%, raises endometrial cancer 10%, and raises lung cancer up to 6%. And these are just talking about just cancers, but now it's also setting down long periods of time increases your risk of diabetes by up to 112%. And some of that has to do with, of course, setting down, of course, inactivity, but it also has to do, what do you tend to do when you sit down? When you sit down for long period of times, oh, I'm bored. So you start reaching for that bowl, start reaching for that wrapper, start reaching for that, snacks, empty calories. Um, so all those, because it's not just this one thing by itself, and that's it. If it was just that one thing, just sitting down, not moving, and that's all it. And it didn't lead or counter or add on to other things, then that will be one thing. But it's going to add on to other things like the eating. It's going to add on to um, the blood pooling. It's going to tag on to being fatigued, being tired, being lazy. It's going to add on to more of this stuff. Endometrial cancer is cancer of the womb. Thank you. Um, so this all factors into a grand scheme of things. Just like it's a compound effect. Just like if you start being more active, you're gonna naturally want to do more active things. You start hanging around with people that are more active. You're gonna start making more healthy choices. You're gonna start doing more activities with your friends. You're gonna become less fatigued. You're basically gonna be the opposite of what I just mentioned. All the things I just mentioned. So sitting down 7 hours or more daily is linked to high risk of depression, because if you're sitting around, again, you're eating, you're sluggish, you're fatigued, And especially if you're watching TV and you see all these people on here on TV, or you look at your socials and you see all these people on here um, getting BBLs and are looking good or doing activities, and you're like, man, I remember I used to do that. I used to do that in high school. Yeah, I remember back when. Yeah, now look at me now. I don't do none of that stuff. You start getting down on yourself. We talked about Alzheimer's before. It increases the risk of Alzheimer's. It increases the risk of dementia. And those are things that, again, based on you not challenging your mind, not challenging your body. You're just letting everything just set and pool. There's no activities. There's no challenge. There's no spark being given out when you are doing these. When you're not doing activities, your mind doesn't stimulate. Your body doesn't stimulate. Your muscles don't work. Nothing is happening. So because nothing is happening, nothing is going to happen. Nothing positive, at least. So, like we said, we talked about different ways to counter this and balance this: is reduce idle time, to eat less empty calories. That's one thing that's going to do. If you are moving, if you're going for walks, if you're jogging, you're not going to be sitting around eating on snacks, eating on candy, eating on chocolate, eating ice cream, just drinking sodas. You're not going to be doing these things because you're going to be moving. As we get older, of course, one of the things that, regardless of who you are, it does slow down. It does start to decline your metabolism. If you're moving, your metabolism is going to keep going. Why? Because you're keeping your heart rate elevated, or you keep your heart rate steady, pumping it up. And depending on what you're doing, you may pump at a higher clip than normal. So because one of the things it's going to do is going to create blood flow, creating blood flow, raising your body temperature, your body core, causing your body to burn the calories, metabolism's up. You're going to maintain good blood circulation. I just talked about, because the heart's pumping. So you're getting circulation. You're not getting numbness. You're not getting these crinks. You're not getting these aches and pains as much. Um, your body is more limber. It's more loose. It's more functional. Uh, just moving. So I talked about that. When I remember back when I talked about the 30 minutes and then do something, get moving. Even if you just get up and do something 2 minutes, right? They say do something for 2 minutes. They say every hour, but even if you get up and just and even like with truck driving, they have this in their in the safety manuals, right? That every couple hours to get out, just pull over and stretch. It might be that was a long time ago. It might be an hour now, but for sure they were saying every 2 hours or 100 miles, whichever comes first, to pull over and get out and do some stretches, walk around the truck, do a safety check, whatever you need to do. But every hour, I'd even like it to say again every half hour. Especially another thing that we don't talk about, that I haven't mentioned, is your eyes. I mean, you see, I'm wearing my glasses. I usually wear them when I have to do a lot of reading. Like I said, I had a lot of statistics today, or when I'm working for long hours looking at a monitor. You want to give your eyes a rest. So even if you get up every half hour and just, like I said, switch your position, which from your work desk or your station, or move your laptop or whatever, every hour you take at least 2 minutes to go stretch, go to the bathroom, go get some water, go get a healthy snack, um, just to move, just to keep moving, and just to let your retinals relax as well, which is vitally important for again. This is overall health. So, by doing that, 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, a couple commercials in some cases, um, it will help to decrease early death by 33%. So again, we talk about all these things that are happening, but then we talk about just doing simple stuff. Simple, 2 minutes. That's 120 seconds. That's you microwaving. So you microwave popcorn for longer than that. Just doing this couple minutes. what help um, will help to balance that, to counter that. It said I like to make it simple. I want to simplify it. We don't have to go into all the complex organisms and the cellular reproduction and how the molecular structure is, and how your motor learning cortex works, and motor unit movements, and all the fundamentals and all the sciencey stuff. I say I want to give you scientific statistics, but I want to break it down so that you can understand how how easy, I mean, really how easy, how simple health can be. We don't have to get it, we don't have to make it complex. We could simplify it. um, Cookie cut, we can not cookie cut it, but a lot of it is can be cookie cut. And just doing the basic things like I just talked about, just moving, stretching, every hour, um, uh, changing your position, stand up, sit down, stand up for 5-10 minutes, sit down for 20-30 minutes, whatever, stand up for 20 minutes, breaking things up. Looking away from your monitor, taking a minute to just walk outside, get some fresh air. um, After work or lunchtime, go for a walk. If you work at an office that has levels, for your break, instead of just going to sit at your desk or going to the break room or going to the lunchroom or going to the water bucket to just talk and gossip, just walk up and down a flight of stairs a couple times, doing the basic things instead of taking the elevator, taking the stairs, parking in the far part of the parking lot. Again, if it's safe to do so, and if weather permits, just doing little things. Do your own grocery shopping. Go into the grocery store yourself and getting groceries. Um, Walking your kids to school. I mean, it is that simple on top of going doing regular fitness activities most days of the week. Just doing those things, they all add up. I mean, I trained hard. I trained hard, when I was competing, but I was so active too. Like I was constantly active. I usually had like 5-6 clients a day. So for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, I'm active outside of training. I'm active. Whereas when you get into a position like this, I'm training hard still, but the activity still isn't the same. So finding that balance, I understand that it can be challenging, it can be hard, but you just have to start making, goes back to having to make sacrifices and start making these sacrifices to do things. Instead of watching one of your shows for 30 minutes, do some activities, play some games with your kids, go for a walk, take your dog for a walk or a jog, go ride a bike. uh, Simple things that they'll make a huge difference, both short and long term.
Absolutely. Um, you'd be surprised how much walking you don't do anymore compared to when you were younger. So, um, as you get older, the one thing my dad told me, my pops was like, son, you take for granted uh, going to the mailbox. When you're young, you run to the mailbox, grab it, come back. But as you get older and you do less and less, as my dad got into his older years, the last year or two, when it came down to going to the mailbox to get his mail, man, he would walk to the mailbox and he'd have to stand there for a second. He would just have to stand there so he can catch his breath. And then, so he used to tell me, hey, son, make sure that you, hey, man, can't you see we're in the middle of something right now? Get down. You're crazy. So he would tell me, make sure that you stay active. He said, I can't stress that enough to you. Stay active. Always do something. Um, just like a vehicle, if you stop using it and you park it in the side over there and you leave it there for a few years, it might still start up after a few years, but sit it over there for like 10 years and do nothing with it for 10 years and then try to start it up, it probably isn't going to start. You might have to do a whole bunch of things like change the oil, change the coolant, You might even have to deal with the breaks because you just neglected it. And then everything all at one time, you're going to have to pay for it all at one time. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't because it's too far gone. Now you have to replace the seals and all kinds of stuff. So if you look at it from that standpoint, keep it moving. The old man that I talked to that was in his 90s, he said, man, don't stop moving. When you're in elementary school, when you're in high school, you had PE, you had physical education. As soon as you graduate high school, society doesn't care whether or not you exercise or not. You on your own. So if you're one of those people to decide, oh, I'll just be lazy and breeze through life and have everybody do everything for you, you know what? You'll be one of those people that we look at and go, I'm glad they're gone because I was tired of doing everything for them. So don't be afraid to do things for yourself.
Yeah, I mean that last part you just said really like, we, we talk about, oh, people say, oh, it's my body, my choice, right? It's my
Mm-hmm.
right. If I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
do nothing, hey, let me be fat, let me be
Mm-hmm.
lazy, let me not do anything. But it's not. Eventually, it's not gonna be. It's not about. It's not just you that has to suffer for that. Because if you have kids, if you have family, if you have a spouse, if you have loved ones, friends, all those people they're gonna suffer
Having to
because you're
take care of you.
suffering
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, mentally. But if you're having to come and help take care of this person, if I'm having to come take out your trash every week to the trash to the mail, if I'm gonna go check your mail, especially if you live in an apartment complex where maybe your mailbox might be, 100 yards
On the
from your
side. Yeah.
house. If
Yeah.
I'm having to come do all this, if I'm having to physically help you up and down the stairs, I'm having to physically help you get in and out of the car to take you to the store or to take you to the doctor, if I'm having to physically come clean your house because you can't even clean the house anymore, if I'm having to physically come on Sundays, if I'm having to physically come wash your ass because you can't get it because you need a chair or you need a stool to set in there to take a shower, and I have to help you do that, it's not just you that has to just takes the toll of that.
Mm-hmm.
So even I know a lot of the listeners are younger, but if you are, whether what age you are, if you are doing the on the pathway that I just laid out for you, eventually you're going to get to that golden age if you make it that far, hopefully, to
Mm-hmm.
where
Just keep
you're going to
pushing.
have people that have to take care of you. And I literally was talking about that with one of my boys today, when we was working out. We was talking about, you know, not wanting to get to the point where people have to take care of you, because you don't know, when you get in that position, you don't know how people are going to take care of you. You don't know what's in store, or what their life is, or what their plans are. You don't know how, what toll that's going to take on them, and you don't know how they're going to treat you. Just like you don't know how some of these homes are going to treat you. So I said, I don't want to get to that point again. One of my whys is to be self-sufficient, to be totally independent in my golden years. I don't want to have to depend on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
If they help me, blessings, appreciation, paying it back to me, whatever. But if I can help it, I don't I don't want to have to be to that point. I want to be able to take care of myself and be functional and be cognitive. Because so when you think about not taking care of yourself and how it's only you. It's never only you, unless you
Mm-hmm.
are one of those people that don't have anybody in your life. And when can't take care of anything, you can. I mean, again, depending on where you are, what stage you are, where you are in your life, if you can't even make a phone call, how are you gonna even call people to come and deliver food and take care of this and that? So it's never just you that's going to have to deal with this. Your loved ones, your family, your friends, and not even not. I mean, it could be anything. It could be because of your diabetes. It could be because of cancer. It could be because of hypertension, heart disease, lungs. It could be because of any of these things I just mentioned, or any other number of things that can happen because nobody knows what's around the corner from us. Only God knows.
Mhm.
Nobody knows what can happen tomorrow. So for you to just be, it's really it's selfish to think that it's all me and what I choose not to do with my body and what I choose to do with my body, my activities and my nutrition is only going to affect me. It's not. It affects anybody that cares about you that's there for you.
Yep.
So let that be your why to
There's your why. And
to say, you know what, I love you enough to take care of myself to help lessen the burden of myself onto you if something for God forbid happens
right.
that can be prevented.
Well, uh, we are out of time. We have reached an hour. And like I always tell all you shit talking fans, shit talking Sunday fans, let me tell you, if you ain't trying to get none of this free 99 fitness tip every week, and you're not actually asking questions, you're not taking full advantage of what I'm offering you. I'm giving you value. If you want to get healthy and you want to do it uh the long the long way, well, this is the way. You reach out to Vince the Beast with Team Fitness Major. You tell him, I need your training. If you can't afford that training, I'm gonna give you the matrix. You ready for this? You call this number, right? You get the free consultation. After you're done with the free consultation, right? You've already got all the questions that you needed answered. Then you watch this show. You watch this show and you ask even more questions. But after all that, if you still can't understand how to make it happen, then you email him. Once you email him, you could set up a time and date and pay him a very reasonable amount of money. And he will personally train you and help you to get into shape. I mean, look at me. I mean, men men wish they had the body that I have, especially these legs. I'm telling you, when all summer long I've been telling y'all, if I wear shorts and I show off these legs, women go crazy, man. It's like they're like, oh, what in the poultry is going on in here? And I tell them, man, I know you love these legs. They juicy, huh? They be like, yeah, those chicken look good. Don't go to KFC. They might fry them motherfuckers. But anyway, I just want to let everybody know. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Um, if you find this information um, useful for you, please hit that like button because it helps with the algorithm. And we're definitely going to be getting some special guests in here down the line. So we just got to get to that mark, and then we will get there. Once again, Vince the Beast. I'm AG the Dad. I want to thank you for taking time out your busy schedule to give all my Shit Talking Sunday fans some fitness tips to keep them able to listen to my Shit Talking Sundays. Every day is Shit Talking Sundays. So thanks again, bro.
Oh, and
Uh,
salute to all the veterans out there for
absolutely,
Veterans
absolutely.
Day. We appreciate you as well.
Yes, yes, yes. And don't
Absolutely.
forget, we're only what 8 days away from I don't know if you want to, what do you call it? Thanksgiving, you
Turkey
know,
Day,
Turkey Day, whatever you
Thanksgiving,
want to call it, because some people call them pagan holidays. I call them a holiday, man.
a day off,
Anytime I can take a
whatever they
day off
call
is
it.
good. Yes. So be blessed, everybody. Don't forget to pay it forward. Teach one, each one, because you never know when you get old if you might need help. All right. So I'm AG the Dad. That's Vince the Beast with Team Fitness Major. See you guys next week, 6:30 next Wednesday. Peace.